Somebody told me to go back to my country. I thought I was going to be mad. I thought I was going to turn around and see a white guy, but I wasn't mad. Because I turned around, and the guy was Native American. I was like, actually, this guy's correct. And I'm Indian. People don't know that, but I'm Indian. And we have a special bond with the Native Americans. People don't know why, but the reason why is because Columbus was looking for us, and they took one for the team. That's why. That's why people ask, they're like, why are there so many people in India? It's because he never found us.
Welcome to the Tempe Mentality Podcast. We are back, and now I should have had this guy a long time ago, several episodes ago, but I'm glad he's here now. Wyatt Feegrado, what's up, baby?
What's up, Pandji? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
I'm happy to be here.
I really wanted to be on your podcast, you and your brother.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I would love to have you on there, but I want him to be there too, you know? So.
No, wait. Are you taping it here? You guys?
We do wherever we're both together. We do like a remote studio thing.
Right.
We set up.
Right. So, me and Wyatt, we've known for quite some time. I think we met for the first time. We were opening for Sammy O'Beat.
For Sammy O'Beat?
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that. And it was, I think till today, that is still the biggest crowd I have performed for.
In New York?
In New York, yeah.
Oh, my God. That was sick. It was like, what 400 people?
I think so.
He sold out?
400, yeah.
At Chelsea Music Hall, which is under Chelsea Market.
Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful venue. And I was kind of intimidated because of the venue, but also because it's Sammy O'Beat's crowd. I think it was the first time opening for anybody, and so I think you're the only opener that had a conversation with me. We went up, and then we had a talk, and then we've been buddies since.
Wait,
then.
nobody else talked to you? There were some friendly people there that day. There was Serby.
Well, Serby, yeah. Eventually, it was Serby, but at that evening, it was just us talking, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think
it's good.
Yeah. But so me and Wyatt, I think the comic that we are booked at a lot of shows together. At the Producers Club.
At the freaking Producers Club, of course.
Yeah. Hey, do you know this is like a gossip now? I'm not allowed to work at Producers Club no more.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Yeah.
Why would they fire their biggest earner? That's crazy, dude.
I don't know.
Are you serious?
I guess I'm not their biggest earner. I have no idea. They just tell me that they're moving towards a different direction, and so they want me to keep a distance.
That is some. I'm gonna find out more about that. I'll tell you. Because are they trying to move away from comedy, or was it Pandji? What happened?
I don't know. I guess, but it doesn't matter though, because I don't have any beef with them. I love them. I'm not allowed to run my mics there, but I think I'm still allowed to do open mics if I.
Yeah. It'd be crazy if you were banned fully. Then it would be you. Yeah, then it's you.
Yeah, something must be wrong with me. But what's interesting for me, even from day one, when I knew Wyatt, I know he is a very brave comic, but I don't want to say it in a bad way because if you remember, the crowd at Sammy's show was kind of intimidating.
Yeah, a little bit. Right? They weren't super warmed up when we went up yet.
Yeah, but I remember you went up there, you had a joke, and then you were like, if you don't like pun jokes, you're not going to like Sammy's joke.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
And I was like, yo, this guy. And so, for me, obviously, and now I'm not the same person, but yeah. I'm not sure that I can do that. Like, to say to the crowd in that kind of manner, like, yo, really? This is how you respond to the joke? Like,
it's pretty arrogant. Yeah, it's pretty arrogant to tell a crowd they're wrong. But I wasn't saying they're wrong. I was just meaning Sammy, he's a big pun comedian.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they didn't like my little pun.
Yeah, I remember, because I think.
But I know the pun. It was a mean pun. That's why. I was saying that I cheated on my girlfriend in the joke, right? And I was like, but to be fair, I thought that, she wouldn't be mad because she would tell me every day, like, she's Polly. She used to tell me, like, I'm Polly almost every day. And apparently that was just her name. So that's the joke that I was doing, right? It's technically a pun, but more it's like a mean, misdirect.
I don't think so. I think I think something was, I don't want to say something was wrong with the crowd but it was kind of, I think the first person who actually cracked them was Akeem.
Oh yeah, man. Of course. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he is. I'm certified comic. I mean,
Of course.
Yeah, but
if you want to start some drama, if you want to start some gossip, Akeem is just always in my DMs trying to fuck me. I'm serious. It's like too much.
Akeem, why are you not on my DM? I'm kind of offended.
Akeem, I know. The thing is, I can't even get mad at him because I know sometimes I'm like that with girls where all of us guys get this, I think, and girls hate this, of course. But, you know, when girls will be like, well, why does he keep hitting me up even when I know, when I've told him I'm not interested? Because he's there like, maybe this time, you know? and so I can't hate Akeem for doing that to me. Yeah. Because he's like, hey, you want to come? This is what he said to me. He's like, hey, you want to come hang out while I pack for the road? Like, that's the horniest message I've ever. Hang out while I pack?
You know what? I think he's just looking for another story for his content. You know his content?
Yes, he does. Where he converts straight people.
That's just the wildest shit. It's funny though. I love Akeem. He's hilarious. But yeah, so we've been doing shows together, and I want to tell you, I think envy. I don't know if envy is the word. But I was really upset at how I reacted to the situation at Kevin's and DC's taping.
Okay. Do we need to give backstory here?
Yeah. So what happened was Kevin and DC taped 30 minutes of their set at the Singapore
in Brooklyn.
Yes. So it's a two-day thing, a Friday and a Saturday, I think.
Correct.
And then we went to the Friday. I didn't know you were going to be there.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to be there. But
yeah, we were just
supporting, you know, our friends.
Yeah, and so we were there. But then it turns out the most important thing to do, taping, wasn't there yet. So the camera guy was late.
I felt so bad for them. I felt so bad because they had a packed out crowd too. They sold out the place, so I was so happy for him. And then the fucking camera didn't show up.
Yeah, but also a lot of respect for the audience. Even though it was an hour late, they were still strong. I mean, you know, they were responding well to the jokes. It was a great evening. But so because of the camera guy being late, they had to delay and they had to put in another person in. And Kevin and David Clash, shout out to David Clash, they turned around. Is
that the tall white kid?
Yeah.
All right.
And then he said, yo, Pandji, want to do 10 to 15 minutes? And I was like, was put on the spot, and I don't know why, but I got nervous. At that time, I was like, what right now? I'm not ready. And just when I said that, I was, well, let's just say I regret saying that because, and then Kevin said, I'm going to try to ask Wyatt. He's here. Wyatt is here? And then I saw you went up, and I was like, I'm such a pussy.
Yeah.
I'm such a pussy. And you did great.
You know, when you told me that story, like, because I saw Pandji the day after, we were at a show the day after, and he told me that story, I was like, I wasn't even their first choice, man. Fuck.
No, it's because
I went up there, I struggled, I wasn't even their first choice.
No. Remember, you were standing near the door, right?
Yes.
I was at the back. I was at the near the team was at the back. So they were on this little meeting in the back, and I was closer. And so Kevin was like, yo, you want to do 10 minutes? I'm like, right now? And it's okay. Wyatt is over there. And somehow I felt like, what the fuck? This is an opportunity. I should have said yes, no matter what the result was.
Yeah.
And I'm just upset I chickened out.
No. Well, you read the room correctly. You know, I, again, like, maybe have a little too much arrogance that, like, every room I'm like, I could get him. But that's supposed to be the mentality, right?
I guess so. I was just talking with Mike how we were just supposed to just work. If there's any opportunity, just grab the opportunity, just work it.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what the room was like and the situation was like. Because I saw you went up there, and I don't know if I saw this incorrectly, but I saw you, and then you were trying to feel the room for a while, and then you went into your set, and I those are solid jokes, but people were just walking around.
I'll narrate how I remember. Okay. So I remember I went up. Half the room was, it was kind of like the intermission. So they were maybe getting a new drink or going to the bathroom. But I never think that starting on like my opener is smart when everybody's walking out of the room because I feel like nobody's gonna hear it. So I was just trying to stall time. So I was just saying some bullshit about Kevin, man. It wasn't even fun or nice or anything. But and then as soon as they went out, I tried to start my jokes, and then they weren't liking it. So I kept moving to different kinds of jokes. And eventually, somehow, I got them with like the meanest like trans jokes. Not mean, actually, just smartest trans jokes, maybe.
But I felt like, oh, fuck, I'm such a pussy. Do you ever had that same experience where you're on my side of the story?
Where I say no to it?
Yeah. There was an opportunity, but you said no to it because you felt like maybe you weren't ready or something?
Not recently. I felt very nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go up, and I feel like this is why people are seeing me have really bad sets recently, because I like to go up in like the worst conditions nowadays,
I think that's how we're supposed to do it, right?
I don't know. Because, I'm not you, but I had a chance to go up in front of like a Wyatt Feegrado audience for the first time, like finally through social media. It's like 40 people who knew me. So I was like, and it was too easy,
I see.
Like it was like, we have the same sense of humor. It's no fun.
Yeah.
I want like a challenge. That's why I love Producers Club. Producers Club, the conditions are never right for comedy. Something is always going wrong. Either there's like really loud air conditioning at the least, or there's no audience members, or all the audience members think that they're seeing, they think they're seeing like a Broadway show. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. But I saw you. I was like, this is such a heroic moment.
No, it was not. You're like, this whole podcast is Pandji justifying my bombs that he seen me do.
No, it wasn't a bomb.
You know what was worse? There was this female comic that I'm friends with, Rosie, Catherine, and she texted me. She's like, hey, where are you at? And I was like, I'm in Bushwick. She's like, I'm in Bushwick. I'm like, oh, come through to this. And then she watched me fucking bomb for... Maybe I'm too much of a guy, but the fact there was a girl that saw me bomb was worse. It was worse.
Yeah. How long have you been doing stand-up at this?
About 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
So you started doing stand-up in San Francisco?
Correct.
What was it like? 8 years? How old were you starting out?
16.
How old's your brother right now?
Right now he's 15. Yeah,
wow, he's around the same age. Yeah, and your brother's like, I saw him. What's his name again? I'm sorry, Luke. Yeah, I saw Luke at the Producers Club.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
He's heard so much about that place from Serbian and I, so he wanted to see.
Yeah. So anyway, so you started out 16 years old.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Well, yeah. So I always wanted to be a comic, but I didn't want to say that to anybody because it's like telling people you want to be a rapper, and I feel bad because I know you're both. I'm sorry. It's like telling somebody you want to be a TV host or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
no,
I understand. I understand. Yeah.
But I told him. So I snuck out one day. I told my mom that I was going, to a friend's house, and I drove over to Tommy T's in Pleasanton. Maybe one day you'll do it there. And I guess the rest is.
What was it? What was that like doing the first time?
Did you so bomb bad, dude?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because sometimes comics, their first time on stage, whatever, beginner's luck or something, and then afterwards they start bombing.
It's my stupid brother, man. He like murdered his first time.
Really?
So mad. Yeah, he didn't do as well the second time, so he's humbled, but. I bombed. I had 5 minutes as Mike, but I did only 3 minutes of it. Oh. And it wasn't that I didn't have enough material. It's just that I was talking as fast as I am now. So like I didn't pause for a punch. I had no instincts. No instincts. Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember that joke?
Which joke?
Whichever joke that you had.
I did one-liners and I did like 30 of them without any breaks. And so no laughs.
Do you remember one joke of?
Yeah, they were so bad. I mean, there was one where I was like, I'm really unlucky. I was trying to do like Stephen Wright comedy, really. I'm really unlucky. Like I won a radio contest for a year's supply of calendars. Yeah, like it's kind of clever, I guess, but it's not funny,
I think I heard a lot about the San Francisco comedy scene and how important that city is. It's one of the most important city in stand-up, I think. One of the most famous stand-up competition was in San Francisco.
I guess the SF comedy competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever? I think Sammy was.
Yeah, Sammy placed a few years ago. Yeah. I think after you place, you're not allowed to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
But no, I've never actually participated in that. My brother, I think, has participated because he's there all the time. He lives there, so.
So when you started out, like any other comic, I assume that the way we do stand-up is similar to the comic that we idolize.
Yes.
Yeah, and to you was a...
That was Stephen Wright. Do you know Stephen Wright?
I don't.
He's kind of an eclectic comedian. Well, that's... I don't like saying that because he's like such a legend, but he's basically a very irreverent one-liner guy. I love him because, you know, he would write one-liners like that, that, you know, nobody else could get a laugh with it. You would always say it's clever, but he was able to get a laugh with it. And for me, that's where I gravitated because for me, it was the easiest to understand why it was funny.
What was it like, the San Francisco comedy scene?
It's very, very nice. Like, it is very supportive. They'll get you to the open mic level, to the like at least doing indie show level very easily. So it's a great place to start.
Yeah, I remember I was doing this show at the Greenwich Village, and I forgot the name of the comic. He was just from San Francisco for a month, and he was like, he was loving it because he felt like, you know, people in New York, they're just used to comedy. They can watch, you know, stand-up comedy every night.
Yeah.
And so he felt like the crowd in San Francisco are more appreciative.
It's a lot. It's easier. Yeah. It's easier.
But so it's a good place to start to learn stand-up?
Yeah. It is a great place to start and learn stand-up. People like that are in the San Francisco scene still, they feel like it's cliquey, but wait till they get here. They'll see cliquey, you know?
What was, I think... Robin Williams is from San Francisco.
He is, yes.
Right?
He is.
So, what's the comedy clubs are like?
What are the comedy clubs like?
Lots of them
in San Francisco. There are a couple. Okay, so the main ones you're gonna have is the SF Punchline and Cobb's. Cobb's is basically a bigger room. It's a different venue, but it's run by the same people. And then there's the San Jose Improv, which my brother's passed at, which is a big club too, like 250 it seats. And then there's smaller ones. There's like the Setup. There's Cheaper Than Therapy. And compared to other big comedy cities, there are not many comedy clubs. You know, there's others like on the periphery. There's like Alameda Comedy Club or Rooster Tea Feathers, or I don't know if you've heard of any of these, Tommy T's, where I started. But I would say because there are not many clubs, it is very run by indie shows as well, which is good. You know, I like seeing the power in the hands of the comics.
So as a circuit, it's fun so you can just go around.
Yeah, but as a circuit, it's not great for making money because, you know.
I don't think New York is even.
Hey, New York, there's enough clubs that you get 6 sets, you made some money that day. You know, that's hard to do. But in San Francisco, you can't do that. There's like, okay, you're at the Punchline twice that night. That's all the sets you can get that's paid, really. Hard to run around.
Sammy is also from San Francisco, right?
He is, yes.
Did you get to meet Sammy when you were still in San Francisco, or?
No. Actually, I don't know where I first met him. I don't remember now. Oh, yeah, no, it was in San Francisco is where I first met him. I actually met him over KO Comedy, you know, on Zoom.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
He asked me to, like, open for him on Zoom. And so...
what was that like?
Surprisingly good, man. I don't know. He has regulars. Like, I love, because his regulars, they enjoy his comedy, and you know, because they're there every week, but like, they like to experience comedy how they want to experience it. Like, there are guys who I've seen on that Zoom where I'm like, they would never pay tickets and go to a comedy club because this guy is eating ramen right in front of his camera. Eating ramen in front of his camera during the show with his sound off. But that's how he likes to experience it, apparently.
Yeah. That's really tough. That's weird. I did a Zoom gig one time. I don't know if I told this story or not before. I did a Zoom gig one time. I have to do stand-up. And the person, and one of the little box, the person was doing, I don't know what tool this is. He was at the gym.
Oh, the elliptical?
Yeah, he was doing this while watching me do. He said, I was like, oh my God, this is so
damn,
weird.
Dude.
It is weird. So when you moved to New York, that's after how many years in?
Oh, like a couple months in San Francisco, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You've only started a couple of months and then you moved to New York.
Well, not like for comedy.
Oh.
You know, I was I was graduating high school that year too, so I also moved for college, but also like really for comedy. But I didn't think I'd be here, sitting here to really.
So what was it like when you moved? Because it's different pace, different clicks.
Well, yeah, that was something I realized. Well, just know I was also like an autistic 17-year-old, but nobody would talk to me really, like at the mics and everything. And, you know, getting older, I learned that's half on them. And then I also have to put myself out there. But it was hard. Yeah, I definitely.
What year was this?
I didn't know any comedians.
What year was this?
2017.
2017. Wow. Like 3 years before.
You got here?
No, the pandemic happened.
Oh, because I was like, I thought you got here like much later. I thought you got here 2022 or something.
Yeah, I got here 2022, but so your growth was interrupted. Do you think?
No, I don't think so. But I do think like I should identify more as a New York comedian than San Francisco. It's just that I go back often, and you know, I love that scene. So,
what is a New York comedian, stand-up comedian? To your point, because I remember that one time we did a show together, and then I had this bit about, this is gonna sound weird, about how Indonesian blame everything on Jewish people.
Yes,
remember that? And then you said, "Yo, you should have more of those kind of jokes, because that's more like a New York joke." And I was like, I don't really understand what that means, but like the perception that you have about New York comics, what was that like?
Oh, I think that's different than what I thought you wanted me to answer. But for that, I thought that was a very New York joke. You know, it took like a controversial stance on something racial, because you're like you usually can't do a joke where you're blaming the Jews on everything, you know. As much as I try, you can't. And but that's fun because it's like from your culture. It's almost like the closest I get, having only lived in the U.S., is when I tell stories about middle school. Because middle school, you were just unhinged. You know, I could say, like, some kid came up to me once and he asked me, like, what race, like, if you could get rid of any race, what would you? And now you can't ask that as an adult. But if I talk about, like, in India, like, oh, my grandmother said this, at least it's a different culture. You know, they're like, that's interesting. They don't have any Jews there, so you don't blame them as much. But I love that. I love that because it's better than... for me, the like Indonesia is so different from New York jokes. You know, the kind of like hacky ones, like New York is like this, Indonesia's like this. I like it a lot. I like that.
I find it. I have this. I
don't think you have. I wasn't taking a shot, by the way. I don't think you have made any jokes like that either.
No, but I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to write jokes that doesn't have anything to do with my identity as an Indonesian. And I find it hard because for whatever reason, maybe it's just me, for whatever reason, they just seem not interested in it.
Interesting. Wait, so it still has to do with your identity as a person, just not as an Indonesian?
No, yeah, just me, my perspective on things in New York. Like I finally have a bit. It's about DTF and BDE, about the acronyms. I use it as well during the show at the Grizzly Pear, and that works. And I wanted to have more of those kind of jokes so that I don't have to, rely on my identity as an Indonesian as a crutch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's a great, at least, even if you don't end up liking the material, it's a good writing challenge,
Yeah.
But, so you think... Because it's one thing to say, oh, my Instagram followers don't like it because, maybe they're all Indonesian. They want to see that material. But you're saying the audience
in New York
doesn't like it.
Yeah. Maybe it's just not a good joke. Because I felt like if I say something about me being Indonesian, they pay attention because it's not a lot of Indonesian. They don't get to see a lot of Indonesian comics. So when I say anything about Indonesia, they pay attention. But when I talk about something else, like something topical, their attention was kind of cut off because it's not interesting anymore because it's topical. But I wanted to develop that way, and so now I have jokes like the BDE and DTF, and I need to develop more. I have stupid jokes about, you know how when you buy eggs it says cage-free eggs. Yeah, I wrote a joke about that, and it's just stupid. But I'm just trying to develop. There's not. I'm not familiar with that term, cage-free eggs, and I think I was just trying to put in an analogy on prison.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but it wasn't working.
Wasn't working?
It was maybe because I don't want to blame the topic. Maybe it's just me I'm not a good joke writer yet, but it takes. I've only been
dude,
here
it's
2
also
years.
in your second fucking language. That's so difficult to do comedy not in your first language.
Yeah, this is the podcast.
Especially if you're talking about. I mean, stories in your second language, I think, is probably a little easier than like constructing jokes in your second language.
Yes, and that's why this podcast really helps, because I really need to, speak more in English.
Yeah.
Apart from when I do mics and do shows, conversational, so that it helps me with writing my jokes, because I still suck at it.
You're probably right. And I'm sure you just hear new phrases like still often, right? And like new ways that we say things. And that's how I come up with most of my jokes, is just the way people say things.
I love one of the jokes that I love was you had to watch. Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
You had to watch a homeless person jack off for an hour. You said, what was the bit?
Yeah, like I was on the subway and I had to watch a homeless man masturbate for 45 minutes. Yeah. And then my phone died. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that joke. Because when you pause it and people are like, ugh. Because we all experience that, right?
Yeah.
And then you said, and then my phone died. I find it very hard to write, because I'm from Indonesia and it's a very storytelling culture kind of joke. I still find it hard to write a very
tight joke.
Yeah, I remember one of the.
I'm the opposite. I struggle with what you're really good at. I have a hard time doing a joke that's actually about me and my life. All my jokes are like little fun constructed wordplay, you know?
But you're not, but it's okay anyway, right? To be that kind of comic?
Yeah, but again, I want to challenge myself, right? I'm like, how do I grow as a comic? Like now I'm forcing myself to tell stories. You saw me tell that like story. It's like such a basic story to tell too, because it's like me and the heckler. And so it's like basically written jokes that I wrote on stage at that time. So it's like, is it really even a story if I'm still doing written jokes to get the punchlines in the story?
I think it still is.
I'm trying to get better.
Yeah. But I remember at one point I did an open mic at this one place. And then it's one of the mics that you get feedback.
Yeah.
And then after I did my 5 minutes, I went back to my chair. I went back to sit. And then the host, he spent another 5 minutes talking about how comics in New York don't like it when you tell stories. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so... It's kind of demotivating, because he took 5 minutes to explain that to me. And everybody else had to wait.
So ironic.
For his... so ironic, yeah. They had to wait for his, assessment of my comedy.
Yeah.
But I remember, oh my God, this is so hard to do, trying to switch, because I've been doing it for over 10 years.
I don't think you should switch, but joke writing, I guess, more classic joke writing is a great skill to have as well. But you already know your brand, right?
But that's it though. Do I want to have that brand?
Okay, fair.
In New York,
fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you see as your ideal act then?
Well, that's a good question. I would know. What is your definition of an ideal act?
If I had to do my ideal act,
you have a solid 15 that you can bring wherever. Is that it?
No, a solid 15 that like works like really, really, really well on 70% of crowds. Because I know I like to do like kind of mean or like at least challenge myself with topics. So try to do like really crazy topics, and try to get the laugh. Like I have a joke. Oh, actually, you probably saw it that day. But I have some joke now about how I like grew up with a very attractive mother. And like it probably ruined MILF porn for me, because like all the mothers in that are less attractive than my mother, right? But I like to challenge myself with a topic like that, because I feel like otherwise, if you write jokes about fun things, everyone's already gonna laugh. I mean,
but there's also a risk on that, right? I remember
that's
one
the
of
fun
them.
Though. Yeah,
there's this one point, somebody walk up to you.
Oh my God! Yes,
right? A guy.
There's a clip. Yeah, so there was like a Jewish guy, I guess. I went and rewatched the video because I didn't know what I did that set him off.
I was about to ask.
It was a joke that like, it's like at one point it was one of my like signature jokes that everybody knew me for, where it was actually also an abbreviations joke, where, you know, I was talking about how some girl had called one of my jokes, she's like, that joke's like a little race. And I say like, do you abbreviate racism? And in the joke, I say, like, talk about Hitler and the Jews. Like, he sent them to Auschwitz and he killed 6 milli. And I think in the video, that's what set him off. And he didn't like that I said it like that. Which I was saying, don't do that. But, you know.
But the guy, to those who don't know, I think Wyatt has that clip on his TikTok or his Instagram. The guy just walk up to him, like, look at him, and then like, and then went.
Yeah.
He went out.
And he started doing Charlie Chaplin dances. I'm serious.
Really?
Yes. You could go look at the clip. I didn't know I was on stage. I didn't even know what it was. But hey, that story is one of the reasons that has inspired me to be more fearless. Because I watched that. I was like, man, I was such a fucking pussy in this. Like, you should see me. I was like trying to be nice. And like, I was a little shook.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm never going to be shook like that again, you know?
But I bet that one went viral, right? That clip, was it?
Sammy. Not as much as like the later one that did really well was me and this Ukrainian woman who kept, and then I just started, you know, talking shit about Ukraine, which is pretty hard to do. And I'm not pro Russia or anything. I just thought it would be funny.
Yeah.
That one did well. And that one, I was inspired by the other one. Like, okay, actually do it. Go for it. Try.
I know you have a very, very strong following on TikTok.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're doing great. A lot of your TikTok reels get millions, I think.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. Instagram, I'm getting stronger at actually.
Yeah,
recently.
Sometimes I envy other comics' work ethic, and I see your Instagram or I see your TikTok, very consistent with posting up stuff, and you're not also limiting yourself to always only new stuff. Sometimes you pull back from one of your, I think it was a...
Sometimes I have to, yes. Sometimes I absolutely have to do stuff. I'm like, this made me mad, dude, because on Instagram, like you said, I have like a special that I taped like 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, it was a special, right?
Yes. And, you know, I hate it now. That's just kind of how it is,
really?
I think.
Still good.
Well, no. It's just like...
It was produced well.
It was
the
produced
jokes are
fine.
great.
Jokes are okay. Come on, man. I mean, I was 22 in the thing... I'm 24 now, so like I'm sure if I record a special, I'm still gonna hate it. But like I was 22 in the thing. How was I ever gonna like that as an adult?
I understand.
But you know, I had to do it because you're right. The clips did get me a huge following, so it's worth it. If anyone's listening, it's worth it to hate it. I know so many comics.
Do you have like a schedule? Like I have to post at least one a day. Or...
Yeah, I pretty much try to post one a day, unless like. On every platform, unless I'm doing bad on that platform. Like recently, TikTok hasn't been, so I've been giving it like a month break and then going back. But to what you said about posting older stuff, last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, I posted some joke from my special, and the premise is good, but the punchlines I could do much better now. And somebody was like, oh man, like I usually love your stuff, but this one just didn't hit for me. And then I comment, oh yeah, like it's 2 years ago. I'm better at comedy now. And then that got 200 likes. I was like, oh, you guys didn't have to agree, man. You didn't have to be like, because people are coming back like, you are so much better now. Like you're one of my favorite comedians now.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, you didn't have to.
But you know what? A lot of comics wouldn't post their old stuff, you know?
But you have to. You have to post every day, otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah. I see that now because you and Sammy and a lot of comics are very consistent about it. But I think that actually helps grow the following to a point where you said now that you get to perform in front of your audience.
Yeah, a whole 40 people, Pandji, anywhere I go. Anywhere I go, baby.
No, listen.
There'll be at least 40 college-age girls that know who I am.
You know what? Every time I do shows, there's only going to be either one or two or at most 3 people who are there to watch me. Indonesians.
Really?
Also, yeah.
No, but this is not on a show that's like Pandji is headlining. It's not like that. You know?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I only have... You have 40, right? Anywhere you go, you can bring in 40 people.
Okay. Some cities, maybe 100 sometimes, yeah.
Wow. San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco, I do well.
Yeah.
And then I think New York, I've been wanting to start a show just because I have so many people like, I want to see you in New York. But
what's stopping you?
I know. I'm looking for the venue.
Producers Club. You're not banned there.
I know, but
but yeah, this is what I'm trying to get to. Do you feel like, because I feel like this is the way to do now. Like I think in Indonesia, you're right, Mike. This is kind of
oh, it really is. Okay, cool. I can.
I think back in Indonesia, me and Kevin and Rashad we were making this podcast, and Kevin, we were talking about gatekeepers.
Yeah.
But then Kevin says, be your own gatekeeper, he says.
Yes.
And so you have to, I think the point was, don't just try to don't wait for opportunity, and try to create your own opportunity and create your own following, create your own audience. And that's what I believe is the way to do it. But a lot of people, especially back in Indonesia, are, the thing that's stopping them from posting is they look at their stuff and they're like, I don't really like this joke. And so they stop. And it happens a lot of the time to a point that they don't post anything in a week or maybe for weeks. So I guess the question was, do you have that moment where I think this one's going to be strong, this is going to do well, and it didn't? But at the same time, there are stuff that I just have to post this. And then it went good. It went great even.
Yeah, there's been an occasional one where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to post this, or like this is like a repost, and then it actually did well. But a lot more of the time, it's like, okay, this one's gonna be really good, and then it doesn't do well. It doesn't do well.
Because this is more to like the Matt Rife story, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that he was bummed out about something, I don't remember what, and he had this video edited, and it was like, nobody's going to watch this, and his friend was like, you already edited the video, just put it up. And then that went viral.
Yeah. Well, see, that's something that people get mad at other comics for doing. Matt did it very successfully, but putting up like random crowd work bits that you need so much context to understand. And eventually Matt used to get the camera so you see the audience too. So we have more context. But I see a lot of comics being like, or even audience members being like, man, all the stand up on social media is trash now because it's just crowd work every day, you know? Yeah. But it's like they have to do that. Otherwise, you know, they're not going to get any views. You need to be consistent about putting things out, and crowd work is an easy way to do that. Yeah. So I can't hate him for that.
I think not only because it's easier, is hacky the word? I don't know. I don't know if it's hacky, but it does get the job done. Like you have to post something. But at the same time, I feel like people also are loving those kind of content. Crowd work. Do you think?
This is my opinion, okay? I don't know. Maybe if you're really handsome, then any of your crowd work would do well. That was not a shot, by the way. I'm like, that's respect. Like, I got to lose weight so that I can get some of that. But I think for my own stuff, if there's something crazy that happens in the crowd work, like the guy walking up to me, then yeah, it's going to do well. But if it's just normal crowd work, pretty much never does well for me.
I see.
Material usually does better.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because there's a little bit of a drama in that clip of a joke. There's a little bit of intensity, like, oh, what's going to happen? I think that's what makes people, connect with it. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm still nervous a lot of the time going on stage. So sometimes I am comfortable enough to do crowd works, but other times I'm still a little bit traumatized.
So do you never do crowd work in Indonesia?
I do a lot of crowd work. I have a crowd work special.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, nobody
So
knows.
you're saying it's because it's in English then?
In English, and because I think this is embarrassing for me to say. I'm 44. I'm not supposed to be intimidated by anybody. Yeah. Right? I'm old enough to shit on people.
You've done most of the things in comedy too, so no need to like.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's not your first time.
Something is wrong with me mentally. I have to. Because I remember this is a story.
It's good to be nervous, though. There's nothing wrong with being
fearful.
nervous.
It's not. So, like the moment on Kevin's taping, that's.
I was nervous as shit. Okay, just
but you did it though. Yeah, I chickened out. So I think that's something that I have to I have to take care about myself because I still go back to that story I keep telling people about. I tried to do crowd work, didn't know where to go with it, and somebody in the back was like, boring, and I'm like, oh my God.
Jeez, man.
I know, but that's what it is, right? That's I don't know. I'm just
wow.
You know what? I think this is what it is, and I don't mean to say it like I'm like I'm being boastful or anything, but when you've been very famous and successful for a long time, and for me in this case in Indonesia, your ego was bruised when bad things happen. And a lot of bad things happen here in New York.
Well, see, that's okay. If you're gonna ask me what I think a New York comic is, this is just to more extent because every comic goes through this, where you go through so many bad rooms. Crushes your ego. I love that part. I love that part. It wasn't like that coming up in Indonesia? Like
it wasn't, because before I started doing stand-up, I was already a TV personality.
Yeah.
I was a TV show. I was a TV presenter. I was a quiz show presenter. So I was already established 10 years in entertainment before I started doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And so it was easier for me to transition because they kind of, love me. When I moved here to New York, nobody loves me, so I have to try, from scratch. And people back in Indonesia, but you're famous. It's not really starting from scratch. Well, you should move to New York and try to stand up for yourself.
Oh, it is definitely. We were talking about this. Me and my brother, we talk about this because, he really likes you and your stuff and your story. But the part of your story that he's like, why doesn't he just go to clubs and be like, listen, I have this. Look, I have 1 million followers and do that. And I'm trying to tell him, like, from everything I've heard, Pandji is just like, I want to prove it to myself and I just want to do it. I want to try to do it, without that. And my brother, being 15, he's like, why would you do that? And then I respect the shit out of that,
I think it's also because I don't want to be, what's the word? Over.
Yeah, you don't want to be pigeonholed.
Deliver.
Oh, okay.
Over promise, under deliver.
Yeah, underwhelming.
Like, hey, yo, I have this much follower. Which means I'm funny.
Yeah.
Book me on your shows, and then I didn't do well.
No, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
that's what I'm really, because you don't get a lot of first impression.
Yeah.
And you don't want to fail at it.
Yeah.
So that's why.
But you have to understand that at least like it's more so in LA, but in New York, like throwing your weight around with the following is part of the stupid game, man. I hate that shit. But
I know. I don't know. It's just I think something is.
So I'm saying I respect it. I don't hate it either way. But
yeah, I know. A lot of comics say that as well. But I remember Kevin. Kevin is like a mentor to me, so to say.
Kevin's like 28 years old, right?
Yeah, I know.
How old is he now?
Says he says the right stuff. He says, "Fuck, I forgot what I was about to say."
I've known Kevin longer than you, actually. I've known Kevin a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long? He's been doing stand-up for 6 years.
He's seen me. Yeah, he's seen me at 19 though, so like a long time ago.
What? Really?
He saw me do comedy. It was so bad, man. He was very nice to me, mentor-y at that point as well.
He still is. He kind of shaped me. He always does this kind of like a pep talk, like a motivational.
He does do that. Yes.
Yeah, but it helps a lot. I remember at one point I was talking about being booed, being.
Somebody booed you in New York?
No, being heckled, boring, and it was like, "Yo, Pandji, look around you. They're all assholes. They're low-life, drunk, no-job son of a bitches."
These were veterans. He's talking about.
But then he says, wherever you go, just know that this is what he says. I'm paraphrasing, but he says, every room you walk into, everybody else are just assholes, so never feel intimidated by them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why I have to have somebody tell me this.
Yeah.
Something's just wrong with me. I don't know. I think I just have to.
I think it's part of your, because you are a very humble person. So I think it's part of your humility, that you're not going into that room and being like, oh, like, I don't really care what these people think at all.
Yeah, I think it's more also of I really hate to say this, Indonesian mentality.
What's the Indonesian?
Minder. There's a word for it. minder, and what it means is you always feel like everybody else is better than you. That's the bad side of the.
Yeah, I guess that might be one of the drawbacks, but that, for the most part, that's a very nice, way to live.
Yeah, it's the worst version of being humble. I think that's what it is. It's like humble, but a worse version of it. Yeah, so I feel like I need to change about that about myself. But going back to the having a huge following, so I guess career-wise, you're doing as you're planning?
As I'm planning, hopefully, you always wish it was going faster and going better, but can't complain. It's going well.
Also, I almost forgot about this. This is also what I want to ask about you. Your acting career.
Oh,
you do a lot of model shit or acting?
Yeah, it's acting, but more so it's like fucking commercials, so it's not really acting, It's mostly commercials and
How did it start, modeling. Though, for you?
I was always just, like, gorgeous. So no, she was stupid. Stupid. Well, I started I needed to fucking, stand up doesn't pay as much as acting does, right? And so stand up only pays if you're selling out based on your name, basically. And so I was like, okay, like I want to make money in this somehow. So I started just self-submitting to things, and then eventually my resume got good enough that now I can book some pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
pretty good stuff.
I remember the last one you post. You were was that you were acting like a gangster or something like you?
Oh, that one actually was for a TV show. I don't get too many TV show roles, but I did get one. And yeah, that one I was a leader of a cartel, and yeah, I was holding like a Uzi actually, and it was like basically a real one. It was very cool.
And the guy beside you on the photo, it looks like Luke.
Oh,
he does look like Luke.
Justin. Yeah, Justin, if you're listening to this, you will fucking look like my brother, man.
And I remember you also did one acting gig where you had to like be naked with a lot of powder on you.
That was the same fucking show.
It was the
same show.
It was the same show?
Yeah, that show. Eventually, when I'm caught, they throw like a smoke grenade in me, and I don't know why every fucking gangster has to be caught in his underwear, dude. Every show I see, it's like that's what the people want or something, And so yeah, they're like, oh yeah, get in your fucking underwear, and then we're just gonna put all this white face makeup on you. Basically, it was baby powder, but. And I had to sit there for 2 hours, okay? And they catch me, they throw it in a window, and I'm supposed to be like looking out the window in one shot. And I look out the window, and there's like 30 people of cast and crew. But then the housing complex we were in, a bunch of people came to fucking watch me, man. It was like, okay, this is how I'll say it. So the week before, I was on a different TV set, and in the set, like, I had to like feel the girl up. So I thought this was God's way of getting back to me a little bit. He's like, here, I gave you something. I'm gonna sound like a creep. Now no one's gonna be like, no, I don't want to act next to that guy. He's thinking about like, oh yeah. But so God got me later because I was in my baby powder naked, and the police came and arrested me, and like 60 people were watching.
Yeah, but I bet it pays well. They're good money.
Actually, the commercials pay a lot better than the TV.
I see. Yeah. I remember one point you were your commercial was on the subway station.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It has to be a lot of, because I remember when in the Producers Club, Dee was telling me you should do more acting gigs.
Yeah, I can help you get into it. I'll show you like what I did.
Oh yeah, sure. But see, this is my. Okay.
See, oh my God, are you going to be like, no, I'm not a good enough actor? Because listen, I'm a garbage act. Okay, I shouldn't say that for my brand or whatever but I don't think I'm the best actor. Okay, I really don't think I'm great, but that's because I like to hold myself to a high standard. Okay, like I'm an okay comedian, but I'm a bad actor.
Okay. I guess. Well,
but it's just like with the posting, you just have to do it. It's just what you. It's just what you do.
Yeah. Is the thing that you've been doing for your career is the thing that you're trying to mentor to Luke?
Oh yeah,
because Luke is funny. He's funny. I saw him. He was at the he was at the Producers Club, and I think he was that an open mic or was that a show? I don't remember.
I don't know, man.
I don't remember, but yeah,
blurs the line.
Yeah, but so he wanted to do stand up because you did stand up.
Yeah, presumably, right?
And then you guys have a podcast together?
Yeah, it's a new thing we're doing. I guess I'll go for this plug. It's a new thing we're doing. It's called Doctor, Lawyer, Comedian. A lot of people have asked me about the name. They think it's like stolen valor, like I'm trying to be a doctor or a lawyer. No, I'm just saying my parents want me to be a doctor or a lawyer. I was a comedian. It's stupid, right? But because they have 2 comedian sons, so it's so funny. So funny that they went 0 for 2, right? So funny. But yeah, it's a new podcast we do. We should have you one day, especially if you want to do shows in San Francisco. I could get you a bunch of stuff. It'll pay okay. It won't pay great.
No, it doesn't. I just want to work. Mike told me. Mike is also like my mentor. He says, just work, and that's what I'm planning to do.
And if you want to do that, we can record an episode too. Be cool.
Cool. It would be great. So people can
stay. We have extra room too if you want.
Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely would try to do that. I think Kevin also wants me to go to Austin with him. He said you should go out to Austin, and I'm really interested in just going to other cities and try to do stand up. But yeah, thank you very much. Wyatt, it's almost an hour.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Do you have anything else to plug though?
Anything else other than that? Actually, this is so I've been holding up on sending you the ticket link because on the stupid site of the Atlanta Punchline hit me up and they're like, hey, can you do a 300-seater? And then I'm always like,
are we still doing that?
Yeah. So listen. I'm always like trying to challenge myself because. That's just what you do. Can I do it? So I was like, okay, I think like in Atlanta, I could get like 70 to 100, and then that wouldn't be a bad turnout. So I was like, I asked you to do it with me, but the problem is on the link, it only says me so far. So that's why I haven't sent it to you yet. But cool. It's in, so let's plug that. I guess it's in 20 days. It is on February 28th on Sunday at the Atlanta Punchline.
Hopefully I can be a part of it, but if it's not, it's maybe not my time. But that's okay. That's the time. Thank you very much, Wyatt, for coming. Didn't you say that you were? What did you say you consumed before you're coming here?
It's a little high, yeah.
You didn't seem. I was like waiting for your high moment. I was like, Wyatt seems normal.
No. Okay. Well, what does that tell you? But what does that tell you?
All right, never mind. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mike, for helping out.
Thank you, guys.
And I'll see you guys on the next Tempe Mentality podcast. Thanks. Peace.